for the covering of Shiloh. So when he returns, he'll cover his bride for standing up to the perversion of this New Testament, those who don't stand against the beast. Um, he'll be standing with be you, Father, Shiloh, the Hamashiach, and myself, and I'm going to need him to cover me for standing up because they put their men in their black robes and their magistrates and their threats against me, and but I've been standing in faith, knowing that Shiloh covers the bride for standing up against perverted law. That's why you sent him. That's why he was sent. That's the whole reason he was sent here, to fulfill all the laws of flesh and fulfill all the testament of the old covenant and make a new covenant with his bride. And that's why you sent your son. And he's only the sins of the world, or the world for what the world is doing, the taxation and the perversion of your word. And that's why, again, you sent your word in flesh to fulfill all the laws and rituals, that when we stand against these perversions after we die, we'll be covered. We will be persecuted for your eye, not Jesus, but the words that are in the book, minus the old laws that are blotted out. So we can't put ourselves under the old law, or well, to standing in front of you, Father, and that makes what Shiloh, you sent your son, worthless, vain. Means it didn't have any meaning. And so I want to make sure that I don't let that happen, because you gave me the knowledge that the word became flesh, and the reason why you sent your son. So religions don't know that, and I'm thankful for that, Father, that I can have a relationship with you, the Hokodesh, the word, and that know who the Hamashiach, and know why the contract, why he was crucified, and for standing up to the Pharisees who had perverted your law, your Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, your first 5 books in Scripture. So 613 statutes, commandments, the laws of the Old Testament, eye for an eye, and all the marriage laws in Deuteronomy, all Kings, all the Numbers, all these are the laws, 613 statutes, commandments that we're supposed to follow. Under the Old Testament, one sin, whether venial or mortal, was death. And so if we put ourselves in the Old Testament, then we're going to be under that covenant of the Old Testament, where none of us, we've all fallen short of your word. You are the word, Hokodesh. So most people don't love you. They love their own version of you. And that's what you warn of. That's the word idolatry, or pornea. The service of the eyes, the service of what we see, dirt, serving the dirt, everything in this dimension that we stand in here, this time, place, and space. I stand in the space right here, so get out of my space. These people are fooled and perverted, and that's okay. I don't want to try to change anybody. I need to concentrate that nobody's going to be standing with me other than, well, I need the covering of Shiloh. I need the covering. If he stood up and he said, follow after me in Matthew and in Luke through your disciples. So that's what I have to do, follow you. Hados. You said, I am the Hados. So thank you for these words, Father, and that I can have a place to share them. And even again, as long as I've ever done this, even if just one hearing air, it's about quality. You, or the cream, always rises to the top, right? So little leaven's the whole lump. So got to be careful of the duality in this realm. The anti mirrors and performs all the same miracles mirror. Remember, follow after me, he said in Matthew, and wonders. And, you know, the Hamashiach could walk through walls. So that's why I don't think people understand in this realm why I follow after him. He stood up to the law, and anybody could walk through a wall. So thank you, Father, for birthing that flesh vessel to fulfill the covenant with your bride, so that when they stand up for the sins of the world, it's not for their covetousness heart, or their adulterous ways, or their sticky fingers and their thievery, but they're standing up to the perversion of this covenant that you made with your bride, and that we're not to celebrate and not to partake in the world, be in it, but be not of it. We have to be here in the flesh, but we're here to represent the word, Hokadesh, you. We're supposed to be a living testament of your will, not our will. That's, once again, that's serving the dirt, serving the eyes, serving the lies. Lies is a demonion, a distributor of fortunes or lies. So I am given bounty of this, and so I have to share it. He said, don't boast because knowledge, but woe, like the writers of Revelation, and we're in that scripture right now. We're in sorrows, so it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. So no great again, no peace. That's antichrist. Peace is antichrist. So you said, do not think I came to bring peace. So you shalom. You said shalom, right? Shalom in the Hebrew. So those who say shalom, peace and safety, sudden destruction will come upon those who call out for peace and safety. So we find our rest and suffering through the crucifixion of the Hamashiach, who they crucified because he stood up to their perversion of Father's Torah, and they made their own oral law. Torah, halakha is what it was, and the Haggadah, but most biblical scholars can't tell me about these things, and I don't wonder biblical, and that's funny, the word Bible is a childish, Hokadesh, spiritual. Father's the word, so it wasn't written on paper, it's on the hearts of the bride, and the heart is continuously filled with wickedness. That's why they love to do their symbology of their Lupercalia, and their worship of their sodomy, and their Baphomet worship of their gods of man, gender, man, beast, and goat, greatest of all time. All their goat gods, and tree, Moloch, Baal. Baal is the sun god. Jezebel. Does that ring a bell? So Baal is sun worship, and grove. Baal in the grove. That's what they were going after. Baal in the grove. Tree gods and little g gods, deities, and having burnt offering of flesh, perverting Father's agape, where he doesn't want us to eat human flesh and celebrate deities. There's the word demonion, or little g gods, distributors of fortunes or lies. That's the word you use, is devil. But there's no such thing as the devil. That's not a word ever written in the text. So no devil, no devils. Such a childish world I live in, but the world. Is that WHIRLED or WORLD, world? That's okay. I'm not trying to turn goats, remember, into sheep. So he separates the wheat from the chaff at the end of this judgment. One judgment. One shofar, final, ram's horn shall sound. The dead will raise. That's when everybody who's ever walked this rock will be one judgment. Nobody dies and goes to DT, little g gods in the sky. Balls. Heaven's not above your head. That's not what the word heaven is. The ruling class. And your mind is ruled. Your tongue is ruled. It's been restrained and retarded, like a carburetor, the orifice opening on a, like a stove, larger or smaller, so only so far you can restrain. you're kind of screwed, down, throttled. Maybe that's a better way to put it. You've been restrained. The restrainer, he puts a restrainer, and the restrainer will be lifted to the final trump. The key to the gate. There's two gates, and he tells us to enter through the straight. Straight is the gate. Narrow, hados. That's the word hados, but nobody studies the word anymore. Everybody's in this worldly, spinning in this ball camp, whatever they've got. Their ball gods. Once again, they're doing exactly what he divorced his bride Israel. We don't go after God. Is not a ball in the sky. He didn't come from the sky. Father is a word. He spoke all of this into existence. The word became flesh. That is the Hamashiach, who was crucified on a tree, not on a cross. Cross is, he formed the shape of a cross. The cross is the pagan Satan Ankh. Pagan, more again, paganism. He said that in Jeremiah, right? Learn not the ways of the heathens, and be not dismayed of the ways of the signs of the firmament. So they go by some lunar clock, lunar gods, and he said don't do these things, and they're doing it again. The whole world is spinning at 1,040 miles an hour on a ball. They're childish, and they like to talk about shapes and colors, so we don't do that in here. It's an adult stream. It's an adult ministry. It's not for religious. Religion is vain. Or not the ways of the heathens, and be not dismayed at the signs. Remember, he said in Jeremiah, "O heareth what the Lord say, O Israel." And he's talking to his bride. Learn not the ways of the heathens, their ways, their traditions, their celebration of their Baal worship. Baal in the grove, but people are doing it again. Celebrating the sun god in the middle of the winter. Banging. Orgy. That's an orgy celebration. Christ's Mass. The Mass is the eating of the flesh, the Christo, the Mass, the man, of the Saturnalia, of the Yule. They thought there was a goddess of heaven. There's nobody in heaven. There's nothing above your head in the sky. Heaven's not above your head. It's not what the word heaven is not above your head. Hell is not below your feet. Earth isn't below your feet. You're restrained by your foreign alien dialect. There's no such thing as alien as a word. It's not some species or being or materialistic entity. Alien is a word, and they've created it and created this Martian, Anakin spacewalker, Chewbacca, whatever. Now they got Chewbacca had a threesome with Anakin spacewalker, and they had Wookiee with an Ewok, and now they got big feet, Sasquatch, or what's that little Samsquatch, or the Rugrats, they say that, or something, the Samsquatch, or can't remember, but yeah, I live in the Pacific Northwest. I don't do this nonsense like America that makes no sense. So, all right, we're just here standing in opposition to the world because we're not supposed to be. We're supposed to be in it, but not of it. So can't get away from the crunch, because the crunch always gives you the way. You know that cereal. And who's steering your ship there? So get a little rough. Might scrape the roof of your mouth a little bit. So, are you on the cereal? Were you waking in the morning and eating cereal? Somebody dies and you're waking. Somebody died, so you mourn. So the mourn, the AM. How about after hours? What part of the day are you in? So thank you, Father, for knowing that the time has been, the distributor of fortunes or lies, the deceiver, Satan, the adversary, will be able to change times. So, gee, I wonder. I'll make you see why Stevie had to wonder. So, Cosmos is an early arrangement. Father does these things, but these people are going after balls in the sky, and orgies, sex worship, and worship of paganism and Catholicism, Satanism, Mormonism, Calvinism. They're all the same. They're all Catholicism is Satanism. That's the worship of the sun god, Baphomet, Baal, Jezebel. So thank you, Father, for the understanding that we need to stand against the system, stand in opposition. The adversary is Satan. So which camp are you in? You know, these people love their celebration of their sun gods and their tree gods and their Baal gods. And, you know, that's the same thing. Jesus Christ is Satan, the sun god, Mithra, the time of Rome, birthed on December 25th, and they celebrate, not supposed to celebrate a single day. So the vain things that they do is not going to get them. By faith and faith alone are we saved, but saved is the salvation. We have to die to be saved. Nobody can be saved. There's nobody being saved. You can't be saved. So that's a false pretense, a false dialect. That's an alien. You can't save anybody. You can't be saved. You have to die. You have to be girded, and your Shem will be called out in the book of life. So what you did is going to be there in that book, not some three-letter God, Jesus, Yeshua, Yahweh. There's no, that's not what name. It's Shem, and it's, remember, believe is an action word. It's a verb. People need to go back to school and study and unlearn and relearn. And they make it might, some of it might make sense, but didn't make much sense to me for a long time, but I still sought. Remember, seeking you shall find, asking you shall receive, knock. I don't come sup. I sup with the wrong people. I myself was lazy, idolatry, you know, lazy eye, you know, all wandering all over the place instead of studying one word at a time so I can aletheia, truth, seek. He said, I am the truth. So if you want to find the truth, you have to unlearn your earthly dialect, your alien tongue. Alien is a word. It's not a species. It's not a being. There's no aliens. But the whole is spinning in this idea that there's aliens in the sky. That's not what an alien is, a word. So Father's the word. That is ghost. Hokadesh. So there's no such thing as ghost. Well, Father is ghost, but there's no ghost. That's spirit. That's what I am. I am spirit. Hokadesh. Like Father created in his, well, image is not, he warned about imagery and idolatry. See, once again, you're falling for the flesh, and that's the why he fulfilled the covenant of the Old Testament, to fulfill all the laws of flesh. So thank you, Father, for birthing the word became flesh. So that is the Hamashiach. They hung to make that covenant, and that's why they hung him from a tree, because remember, put that crown of thorns over his head and said it was Jesus of Nazareth. He is not Nazareth, and they didn't say Jesus because there was no J. I'll just use your alien foreign dialect, which is slander and man, gender, bi, whatever he told you, don't add or take away. So there you go, raping, basically. Strong word, but that's what you're doing. It said add. Don't add to my word. Not a jot. That's a period. You know, people are spinning on it at 1,040 miles an hour, corkscrewing in the third rock from the sun in the third dimension. It's a pretty Masonic right there, right? At 1,040 miles an hour on a block, rock, ball. It don't matter what shape it is, still geometry. So they're spinning on a ball at 1,040 miles an hour, corkscrewing through time and space. You ever looked at the heliocentric model? You wouldn't have to go to space. You're already in space, and the constellations debunk the heliocentric model. You're not spinning on a ball. So nowhere in the scripture does it say that we live on a planet. It doesn't say planet. There is no such thing as a planet. See? Planet. They think they live on a planet. They think they're spinning. They think there's gods in the sky. This is exactly why he divorced his bride Israel. And they're doing it again. So, and the president's in on it. Remember Space Farce? That'll bring new meaning, a cock rocket, don't it? Huh? I've been trying to tell you guys that in here. They worship their rockets. So, Mr. Bubba, Hubba Bubba, blowing bubbles. Must be in the Navy. Must be semen samples. So whatever, it's a crude world we live in. This is Satan's playground you were birthed into. You don't live on a planet. Hell's not below your feet. Earth's not below your feet. Heaven's not above your head. God's not in the sky. God is a title. So it's not 2025. I don't argue with people. I do. I just bounce off their idiocracy. They're idiots. They don't even know what they're talking about. That's giving them the benefit of the doubt. I can call 99% of people an idiot, and they get offended by the word because they don't know what the definition of an idiot is. Idiotos. There's a difference between an idiom and an idiot. You know that? No, most people don't. So that's what happens when you fall for the dialect, alien, foreign tongue. No such thing as speaking in tongues. No free will, no luck, no fortune, no being saved. God's not in the sky. God is a title. There's no J's in the Old or New Testament, so there's no Lucifer or Jesus. Lucifer word never written in the text. Why do people say that? There's no such thing as Luciferian. That's not a thing. There was never. No, that's as real as the Easter bunny. Easter, that's written once. That's Passover. Remember, you had to have that blood sacrifice of a lamb. They ate lamb, not crackers and grape juice, not puffy marshmallow. It was like Ghostbusters with their big, put you in a box and slime. I don't want to hear a sugar-coated peep out of you. How about that? This is all worship of Satan, the adversary, Baphomet, Bel in the grove. Doesn't ring a bell to most people because they're in their own little world. So can't hear you, them damn bells are ringing. So don't worry, it's the deaf ear. Father makes them have that, not like hearing tinnitus or, but dum, da dum, dum, dum. There's no such thing as free will. That's not a thing. There's no free will. Stop it. You're just playing with yourself. See, self-driven, pornea, idolatria, you're serving your eyeballs. You can roll on out of here. You're self-driven, autonomous. Hey, maybe your battery charged. Even one of these rusty dustpans. Sweeper, street sweeper. They see me rolling, trying to get me riding dirty. Oh, that was pretty organic right there. What are you sweeping? Sweeping these fools out of here, right? They've been spun. That brush on the front of a dust sweeper pan. They see me rolling, right? A little too complicated. It's adult-only stream here, not for the childish nature. Remember, they're spinning on a ball, corkscrewing and spinning on a block rock, 1,040 miles an hour, third dimension, corkscrewing through time and space on the spiraling arm of the galaxy. There's some under the sea, Squidward, SpongeBob stuff, spiral arm. That's Patrick, isn't it? The starfish. Oh, you're spinning on the starfish spiral arm. Oh, the water's above, water's below. Now you're in space boats, right? Like Anakin Spacewalker, and the space bars with their space balls, their eyeballs. They like their balls. Whether it's men or women, these people got a thing for balls. Remember, guys, they treat their women's, like wheels. Son, the ones that are too small, the wind got bigger ones. So they see me rolling, so they like round things. I don't know what it is. It must be the eyeballs. So you see women rubbing their eyeballs too, don't you? So don't think women don't have balls. They sure do. Father gave us all. Remember what AC/DC said, I've got big balls and she's got the biggest balls of them all. So, hey, women are kind of emotional. They think on a more emotional level. So that's why they weren't allowed to say anything in the church, right? No, it was just the old law. So, but you should listen to these ladies because they have a intuition like women, But most women don't act like women anymore. They act like men because the men act like women and the women act like men. It says, woe to those who call good evil and evil good. Here we are. The roles have been reversed. Seriously, over in the desert, women, Sharia law, Old Testament, this is a desert, only women burqa or cover, veil their faces, even in the desert and military. I'm better, that. But in America, well, the whole world, men were wearing face diapers, burqa and covering and veiling their faces. See? Weak, huh? Men. See, the women have to step up. Their intuition tells them. So they're like, honey, you better cook those sausages or whatever they eat there. You better make that lawn look pretty for me. And you better watch those kids. I'm playing this video game all day. You better be quiet and do what I tell you. You want some of this meow? My bad. sprung on the cat, then you're going to do what I tell you. So sounds like the roles have been reversed to me. So thanks for coming in, Sabrina. Sabrina's probably going to take that stuff. She got a different kind of intuition, so a little bit stronger than that. But it seems like the men act more like women these days, and the women act more like men. Am I wrong, or I'm just saying? It's like, he says, what are those called? Good evil and evil good, and the roles of she's like, you better. I've got some call it. Hold on, hold on. She's in there playing her little game set. She will do her little game or whatever she will get. Just hold on a second. I said you better mow that lawn, honey. So, isn't that crazy how that's kind of been reversed? But I think it's because men are so out. They're not spoken up using their rights, and we both have a right to speak. And women were told not to even speak in the church. Now we're given, remember, through this ministry, we're equally yoked, equally coveted under this testament. There is no the temple. And remember, it was Mary and her sister that declared that the Hamashiach had risen, given women a voice. You can't tell me they don't have a voice. It was Father created, that moment in time to give women that. I've shared that here with my sisters in Christ, because I'll get to be with them on the other side of this. It's my family. My family is my brothers and sisters that are in the narrow way, and that's my mother. My mother is one who corrects me, and father. So there's no nieces and aunts and uncles and moms and dads and family and spirit and Christ and the Hamashiach. It's your brothers, sisters that are in the narrow way, those that do the will of the Father, your mother. That's what the scripture says. Your mother is those that do the will of the Father. It is your correction. So we're equally coveted. So women get to speak up, and so men should be speaking up as well. And it seems like men have now stood down and women are more speaking up. See, the roles have been reversed. Women couldn't speak in the church. Now women are more outspoken than men. I'm not saying that men are outspoken, but they're more like a bunch of thugs, ugmen, kind of like caveman. Hit her on the head, take her in the cave, bang, bang, bang. And then, where'd she go? Well, you didn't even try to buy her any, get her any flowers or anything, Maybe she likes flowers. Maybe she likes to chooch on some flowers at the end of the day after working hard with you, hunting and fishing, trapping and doing the thing. And I just bang her on the head and take her in the cave. Don't listen to me. I don't see no cave woman next to me. But see what I'm saying? It's the fact that, it seems like the men have gone sideways, here just flatline. Don't hear much out of them, but a bunch of nonsense. So there are men out there, but they're few and far between. But you got to remember, under this covenant, we're equally yoked. And so it's very important that we find that correction from each other, and we sup not with those that do not judge them by their cover. You'll know them by their fruit. See, cover, so what? That's a female. Under this covenant, it doesn't matter. We're equally yoked. What's coming out of her face? Is she sharing the gospel? Is she taking up her cross? Is she out there sharing the gospel, telling everybody the good news, telling everybody that we're equally yoked under this covenant, Jew, Gentile, man, woman, black, white, brown, red, and yellow? And putting that light at the top of her house, the people. It's not what goes in a man or a woman that defiles the woman or man. It's what comes out of the people that defiles us under this covenant. So what's she about? What's coming out of her face or pie hole? Nope, not that pie hole. Oh, sorry, my bad, ladies. So I think maybe it's pretty long. But anyways, so what's coming out of her lips? So anyways, this is something that he judges us by remember, faith. He judges by our faith. Are we girded in his service, faithful to his words, doing what he says in the world, but not of it? And are we standing up for him and putting that light at the top of our house? Whether Jew or Gentile, man or woman, black, white, brown, red, or yellow, under this covenant, we're equally coveted. And that's what he said, I am a hados, in the same narrow way that leads to that straight gate. So narrow is the way, straight is the gate, broad is the way that leads to the no knowledge. My people shall perish for lack of knowledge. So don't sup with vipers. Don't sup with those that are in the broad way. Show them to the narrow way, and don't break with them. Father will show them You give them that seed, that small piece of bread, they'll want more. You know, they won't be on the fence. And we're not here to try to change anybody. So I'm blessed to the abundance of this to know that. And I like to share that with others, with everybody, that it's beautiful that this is already chosen, the selected predestination, the ones he divided from his light, from his separation. He's a separator of that light. He's the one who creates that separation. He enslaved us in this meat suit, imprisoned us in flesh and sin, and pulls us from sin to his horizo, his light, his separation of darkness, into his purity, his alatia, undefiled, because we stop using our own translations and we use his. We let him speak. We put him at the top of our house. He is the light. We put that light at the top of our house. He's pure, undefiled. He cannot sin, perfect in all ways. The only thing that exists without darkness is the Word. And the Word became flesh. And that is what Paul was telling you in his writings, that inner man is Christ in you. That is the kingdom of God, that he called it, the kingdoms, two kings. So he's the king. And so who's remember, there'll be a wedding, and your name will be called out at the wedding. This is all formally going by the book. Remember, the book of life, the lambs, the bride and the bridegroom, your name will be called out in the Lamb's book of life. You used to have that head of your doorway, the head, put him at the, marked with the blood of the lamb, the sacrifice he made. This is Old Testament. Remember, prior to this new, they ate lamb, remember, not crackers and grape juice. So here we are today in this modern world, and they've taken all the same ways of old, and they've converted it and perverted it and translated it and smacked it up and flipped it and rubbed it down and baby bath oiled it and did all the bed parties with it. And it smells like some kind of Waffle House or awful steak or whatever, some kind of hash browns there or something. I'm not sure. So they twisted it. They did. They perverted it, warped it, fooled it, gave it all. You couldn't have beat this thing anymore to the pulp. They got this thing just squeezed, but it's the reverse. It's in opposition. And but that's what he does. He takes everything pure and he turns it to darkness. And that's what the Antichrist does. He mirrors and performs all the same wonders. So people are looking for sometimes, whips and chains and horns and, so that's not how that works. He'll take and pervert and come knocking on your door in a long set of fishnet stockings, some high heels and some lipstick, and ask you to let him in. You gonna let him in? If the devil came wearing, instead of fishnet stockings, high heels, and some of that ruby red lipstick, like those slippers that Clinton was wearing at Trumpstein Island. Remember, they enter into his. He's got water in there. I'm gonna go get. Hey, I gotta get my dog some more water. I'm just gonna get him some more water today. I know you're at the bottom of the water. There's some pieces, a little something there. I'm gonna go get my puppy some water. So, yeah, that's pretty silly, the ruby red slippers. Do you understand what that is? Wizard of Oz and the red slippers. Remember, they were silver, remember, in the book. But either way, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore. Toto. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. Ah, Trumpstein Island. Ah, Island Boys. Epipin Island Boys. How long were we saying this here? And it comes back into the news. It's like, it's on a ball and chain. It ain't going nowhere. It's blocked. It's tied to the chain. So you're not going anywhere. Police state already here. Metaverse already here. So I gotta go get my dog some water. Be right back, guys. I want to get my puppy some fresh water. You still got a little bit of water in there, but let's go get you some fresh water. I'll be back. Zippy out there. You can go out there with that. Come on. Why do you get you some water? What would it add? Get some water. I'm getting you some fresh water. See you down your face down in there at the bottom there. I want you to drink water. Dad got you some fresh water, Poppy Dog, for my boy. There you go, kid. See me at the bottom of there. He's got water, which is fresh water. You don't drink as much as your big brother used to drink lots of water. Biggie always drank lots of water. Biggie always drank lots of water. Come over here. Now you're my biggest. Now you're my boy, huh? My biggest pants is hanging out with the dad. Hanging out with the dad today. 4 more days until court. Kangaroo courts. So we need to have a little bit of discussion for the language, for the dialectus. We always give thanks to Shiloh the Redeemer when we come in here. Sometimes we give thanks for about an hour sometimes, huh? What do we get on the subject there? Meander around a little bit, huh? What a good guy. What a happy boy with the dad. With the dad. I love this guy. We've been doing a lot of hanging out. We have been doing some work. He's always there working with Dad, so he's a good guy. He's my best bone I ever did best. The bestest bone he ever did was. He loves the dad, and Dad loves the boy. Dad loves the puppy dog. This is my puppy boy. You were a good boy. Today you're being good. You're being good boy today. You're being a good boy. Yeah, he's having a good day. So a little bit better today. He's not quite as whiny today. I don't know what's going on. Kevin's back. Maybe that's what it is. He got a little puppy time and got to hang out with. He doesn't really. He didn't. Marcy was on big, so he didn't have that war with her, and he's a pretty. I mean, he's a strong dog. I think Marcy knows too, not to. Pants a little bit doesn't have the reservation that. I mean, he's not like that, but that Tango does. Tango did, or Tango, he would be very. He just turned as like he didn't even care. He will, he'll stand his ground. So, but they don't have that at all. But they were here yesterday hanging out for a little bit. So he got a little puppy time. He got some puppy time, and then Chewy was here, so he loves the other puppies. So, yes, and Dad's been keeping him busy. We've been keeping him busy too, huh? We've been doing things, and always get some eye boogers out here in the desert. Dad doesn't want you to have eye boogers. No eye boogies. Oh, you knuckle butt. You silly boy. You silly guy. You silly boy. You make all the scratches on my couch. You know that? You make all the scratches on the couch. You make all the scratches on the couch. You make all the scratches on the couch. That's okay. I love you. You can scratch it up all you want. Scratch the couch up all you want. Just a couch. We'll get a new one. We get it. Ain't put no holes in it yet or anything, huh? Pretty strong ass couch there. Oh boy, you worn that down a lot with your old kicking, Mr. Flippy Floppy. Mr. Flippy Floppy around being a crazy boy. Being a crazy boy on the couch. So yeah, once again, I'm feeling like this is the right thing to do no matter what. I need to stand against this, not let them just extort my merchant number. And if they end up doing it, it's not because I willingly gave them, agreed to please extort my bar number. And, to the bar, basically my bar to gain for the bar, my bar gain to take a plea, please agree to extort my merchant bar or merchant number so the gain can be by the bar and they can extort that card number, credit card. You call it a social security card, but it is a birthright that they took from you, and they labor you out and make you work and tax you. And that treasury, because they like to take your treasure and sell it to other people in your labor and bond you. And you've been bonded by that bond of a credit card. It's called a social security card. But you think it's something else, and you call it, it's not a social security card. It's called a merchant number. And that merchant number is in all capital letters, and it's part of the system that extorts your capital letter name. So, and your capital letter name is your merchant number. And your merchant number is that number that's attached to your birth. It's your tax ID number, your Tin Man. They made a movie about you. Wizard of Oz. We were talking about, those red slippers. So, you're a cowardly lion and you don't speak up. So, but you have been taken since you're a child. You are not spoken up because you are cowardly. And if you knew what you're actually, if you think about it, you're the scarecrow. You don't have a brain. If you had a brain, you'd probably be dangerous. So they made a movie about you, The Wizard of Oz, the scarecrow and the tax ID, that's your straw man. You don't have a brain. You don't know what I'm talking about because, but that's what they're banking on, that you don't speak up, you don't say anything, and you agree. Please extort my capital letter name and my bar gain. I agree to take a please agree to extort my merchant bar. I will allow you to the bar to gain, the judge gain. Everybody works for the bar. Anybody who's working in that court, they court you into there, and they legal speak you, into agreeing to let them take money from you, and you pay them through your bond. And if you don't pay it outright, then they tax your money. They get that money through your bond either way. So, unless you stand against it, but most people don't. 98.5% of cases that go to trial or to criminal to charges agree a plea out of court, and they go before the magistrate, say, please, please, please take my merchant number money and extort. And some people even agree to be thrown into a cage and then being extorted. Then they pay while they're in there. They can extort that merchant number, and they have fines and attached. And that's what all these. Where do you think the money comes from? It comes from your bond. You've been bonded by birth, your birth certificate. And when you get in trouble in this country, they legal court you into this, not lawful, but legal speak of this revised statutes, and charge you with things that are repugnant, not even adjudicated through House, Congress, and Senate. And you say, oh yeah, that's me. I'm that merchant, because they put you in front. You have to say, okay, is this, state your name for the record, and since the beginning of my case, I've never given a capital letter name, and I was not arrested under Apocalypse is what my name, that's what was given at the time of my arrest. When they booked me in, what is your name? I am Revelation. So they try to give me more charges, but if you're part of the ministry, you know why I said that. So but I made it very clear that I don't have a capital letter name, and I only operate at a private capacity, and I don't operate in commerce. I'm not part of this merchant system. And if you're going to try to court me into this, I'm not going to do it without verbally a fight. So I'm not going to sit there and fight anybody with weapons or anything. Father fights all my battles for me. He is my armor. The word is, they'll put you in front of their magistrates and their men in their black robes and their, synagogues, and you be without counsel. Do not what you order you shall say. I'll give you the answer. So he always does when I'm in that, I'm always one sentence or one word away from being thrown back into jail again. But Father has, at this point in time, kept me out of jail. So we'll see. I have paid an attorney who works for the bar, but I'm trying to keep, to give them money for years or whatever. They try to convict me of some erroneous using my mouth, which I have a constitutional right to do, and I haven't breaking any laws. I have a Fourth Amendment right under the affirmative defense of excuse or justification defense my actions because of what they were trying to do to my son. Wrongfully convict him, wrongfully prosecute him, when I have all the evidence. There's no innocent until proven guilty in this country. So back to, though, 98.5% of cases do not render a verdict by jury, and they plea out of court, and they end up taking some kind of extortion to extort your merchant number. And it is called your social security card, bond, merchant. It's a number, but it's your merchandise, because they sold you out, and they sell your labor on the U.S. stock exchange. You have been labored. You hit the snooze bar, you go to work, you punch the clock. They got you beat, and they just keep beating you every day, taxing you. 40% of your taxes go towards, they're unavoidable, right? There are many avoidable taxes. Like, how about making your own power and not having a power bill? You pay taxes on your power bill, pay taxes on your water bill, you pay taxes on your trash bill, you pay taxes on a lot of things. I don't pay a lot of taxes. I pay land tax. So I got to pay fuel tax. I got to pay, some, but I don't pay unnecessarily taxes that I don't need to be paying. But if I can find a way out, then I can stick it to the man by not paying taxes. And Father hates taxes. So the more taxes you pay, the more judgments you're going to have to pay when you leave this meat suit, because he hates taxes. He turned over the money changer tables and whipped the people. And I'm not calling for arms or telling anybody to whip anybody, but you're going to receive your beating when you get out of here if you don't stand against this. And 99%, 98.5% of people do not. Almost a regular decade after decade in America, the way the system is, set up to get you to take an agreement to let them extort your merchant number. So where I'm at in this case is that finally, after 18 months, the district attorney has agreed to make a plea agreement with me that he will drop all these 7, harassing the police, menacing the police, interfering with the police, hindering the police. My charges are police charges. Remember, I'm not a menace to society. I'm a menace to the police because they were trying to lock up my son. So for no reason. And I have all that evidence to boot because I made it discovery. So I don't think I'm going to go to trial because they can't have a trial with my son and daughter not there. I'm going to already made a pretty big deal about it when I spoke with my attorney here that, hey, he said, I got to tell you this. And as your attorney, I've got to tell you, that yeah, I can show you my birth certificate, though. It's pretty crazy. Look here, I'll show you this. Watch. I have all my birth, I have copies of my birth certificate, certified copies. I even have my original here somewhere. I found that the other day. Let's see if I have it in here. Let's see if I can find it. I've never been a part of this system. Look at this. Look, I'm going to show you my original birth certificate. Even from my original, even when I sent in for my passport, guys, this is hard to find. And actually, most people are not like this. Here's my ugly ass little feet when I was birthed in my mom's, here's my footprints. Is that birth certificate in all capital letters? Nope, those are upper and lowercase letters. See that? Those aren't all capital letters. Capital T, small r, small a, small c, small y, capital J, small o, small h, small n, capital W, small e, small r, small n, small e, small r. Even my birth certificate from, because I was born in Los Angeles. California, in the valley, right smack in the valley, right in the middle of the concrete jungle. See, you've got the seal on there. It's even still got the little. I've never been a part of this system. As much as I've tried, it just always fucks me. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't be a part of it. Every time, I'm telling you, every damn time I get screwed, and this is, I know that's why. See that? My name's not written in all in capital letters. Isn't that a trip? And I can go get you my actual certified copy that you have to get a passport. It's not in all capital letters. I have it from the county and the state. I got a birth certificate certified copy of the original from the state and the county of record, and neither of them have them in capital letters. That's pretty pimping. Whatever, I didn't do it. Father did it. So there you go, proof. My ugly little feet when I was birthed here. But even when they wrote my birth certificate, they didn't put me in all capital letter name. Never have been part of the system. Even when I ordered my certified copy of my original, it does not have capital letters. I've seen the people's birth certificate. Kevin got his. His isn't all capital letters. You know what I'm saying? So why is mine so different? Seriously, I've always knew something was different about me. This even shows that, dude. This is the one with the little, you got the little, ribbons on it still. And I've got the one I can use to get birth. So I have my copy to prove I'm not part of this system. I'm not. So I'm just not. And I'm glad. I guess I just don't know. I just look at it and go, because I knew mine, and I remember seeing my birth certificate, and I haven't found it in a while because I had it pretty buried, and I found it the other day. I was out going through some stuff because I knew I still had this, and they won't take this to get like your passport, is my passport, you know, information. So, but and I don't have my other one here, but even my certified copy. But I remembered mine. I remember seeing it because I remember, you know, I remember seeing my mom's because I know that's my mom's writing on the back, not my dad's. My dad and my mom had near perfect. I mean, I don't mean to go there, but my mom's writing. Look at my damn mom's writing. Look like damn. I don't hardly see this, but look like calligraphy. Dad's writing was almost identical. Not like that, but just her writing was just, you know, God, my camera sucks so bad, but you can probably see. But she had really nice, super nice writing. But either way, not in capital letters. So it's for me to stand up against the system. And this too, sometimes why I wonder when they go through and I deal with things in court like this, why it never turns out like, you know, they have, you know, that have pretty much just come in here and illegally do what they did. Come in here and grenade everybody to get me, you know what I'm saying? Totally violate constitutional rights, my civil rights, my right of due process, cruel and unusual punishment, Eighth Amendment, you know, 12th Amendment, you know, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment. They violated all my rights without even, and I think this is why, guys. I think because when they look through my shit in the system, like I'm not going to lie to you guys, I even in the military struggled when I was in the military. I had issues all the time. I was always having issues. You know what I'm saying? Not like anybody else was having any issues. And a lot of it too, because I was standing up. When I saw something perverted as a dog, you know, you see evil, you bark. You don't just sit there and watch, you know. So I think this must have something to do with it because this is not the norm. Get your birth certificate out, look at it. Why is yours in capital letters? Why is mine not? That's what this whole system is about, is them extorting your merchant number, the capital letter name, and you say, I'm in capital letters. So, you know, I'll bring this shit to court if I had to and say, look, fuck you. I'm not part of your system. Stop trying to extort me. Get away from me. I already put in, you know, already went and subrogated my merchant number, took over power of attorney of this capital letter name and told you you're not taking any money from it. So, yeah, look, your Social Security. Well, you're in Canada, so Canada is not America. You're not part of this, but in a sense, I'm pretty sure because this is star to the Queen. This is still under the same thing, Sabrina. You know, yours is just more exposed out there in Canada. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's the same thing, just more exposed in Canada because you're to the Queen. It's on your coinage. You got the Queen and now the King on your coinage, right? So, you know, it's just out there. And that's what this law is. Merchant law is to the Queen, to the Scottish Reich, to the Queen, to UK, to the Queen, to, you know, all this, you know, merchant number. This is what all this is feeding the system. So I've always wondered why I had such an issue in my life. And sometimes things just like not magically, but just like disappear without my son has seen it. He's like, Dad, that's not possible for that to have just happened. I said, son, that's father right there. You're going to get to see that a lot when you're around, Dad, in your life. These things happen like that. I have no explanation for that, you know, father does. That's like, whoa, how do we come out of that situation? So we'll see. And I'm still know that I may go to jail, but I don't think I'm going to jail now because again, they agreed to give me a plea agreement after 18 months. And so they're going to drop this whole thing with SWAT raiding the house, ruining everything, you know, potentially my son and daughter being murdered. And I'm just going to settle for some kind of, and if it could right now, my whole life would go back to somewhat normality because that we have to give me all my weapons back for what they did to me. And they're willing to drop all the charges and just give me just a misdemeanor, unsupervised probation. So I pretty much almost get off with just a little slap. As easy as least. They tried to offer me the least they could give me. The very least they could give me. That's what they did. Misdemeanor, no unsupervised probation. So it's a slap in the face to me. You know, it really is. After all this time to offer me that is, it's just once again God messing with me, because God does and Father creates all things. So I know that I'm not going to let them willingly take anything from me. And if they take it from me, they're not going to take it willingly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, something's weird with some of them. I'm telling you, there's going to be something that Father did, Sabrina, from the beginning with some of us. I mean, it has a lot to do with it. I know my this birth certificate is not like most people's. There's a lot of things like me about me, and I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else, that are not like anybody else. And so there's the norm, and then there's outside of the norm. We do not conform, you know, not wearing some uniform. We stand out in the crowd like a sore thumb. One of these things is not like the other, kind of deal, you know. So I've always been like that, and when you look at that birth certificate, it makes sense too. Like, what the hell? How did that happen? Well, Father did that for some reason. So um, it's armor. I know it's armor. To me, I know it's an armor thing. I know Father gives me this protection. Does it make me be able to, you know, take bullets to the head? And no, grenade to the head, but not bullets to the head. I don't think I'd survive a bullet to my head, but you could. Anything's possible. I'm not asking for that, right? It's careful what you speak into this time, place, and space here. But a grenade to the head is enough. I don't need to be in taking a bullet to the head. But I know that when I look at Elijah, if he's out there somewhere right now and he's alive, that he didn't let them do that to him either. And I have mad respect for my son right now if he's alive. I do. I have mad respect for Elijah. He's not breaking the law right now. So if Elijah's alive, he is a strong dude to have not take the money, because you know I already told you he could, you know, maybe he thinks there's a chance he could be convicted even with, you know, even with the lawsuit, because the system is so corrupt. Look what they did to him. He did his probation twice, and they still were trying to throw him in jail. How can a man like him trust the system? I told him if he didn't resist, they wouldn't shoot him, and they did anyways. You know, so he has probably zero trust for the system at all. I hope my son isn't even in this country. That would be the biggest the blessing or abundance of all. Honestly, if somebody a long time ago scooped his ass up and he is somewhere with his wife and living in some other country and he don't think about this anymore, and he's a hard worker. He does. He works hard, and so does his wife, and they're just grinding it. They're just grinding it, living the dream. You know what I'm saying? Working hard, sharing the word with ever and there. I don't know. I don't care how he does it. If he's out there somewhere and he didn't go to trial and let them wrongfully convict him, he didn't go willingly. He didn't go willingly, did he? He said, you're not taking me to trial, you know. So I have mad respect, you know. He's like, you're not going to extort my merchant number, and you're not going to take me to trial. So what a strong will he has right now to have that monkey on his back right now. He must have a lot of faith if he's alive. You know, I don't think he is, but I want him to be. I want to see him again someday. I'm so tore up on how he would never want to talk to me ever again. I don't know what to even say about it. I don't even know how to put it into words, and I'm not normally at a loss for words. You know me. I can live stream for 24 hours straight. We did live stream on TikTok for every time we'd hit, you know, 20, 19, 18, 19, 20, I'd stream for that many hours in a row. So this man could put up some work. Father made me that way, but my son can work hard too. And so maybe if he's somewhere in this world that he doesn't trust the system and he's not breaking any laws, he still has the right of affirmative defense. So I've been trying to get my head straight that maybe this case is going to get dropped, and I'm going to immediately file this lawsuit so that I can file and get an attorney for Elijah. I want to talk to John about that, if he will represent Elijah in this case, because he already was his attorney in the beginning of the whole case. So, you know, I need him to, and if that's not the attorney, I'll find the attorney, but I'm going to continue on with this. I'm not going to stop grinding. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to stop looking for Elijah. I'm not worried, Your Honor. So hope, maybe this will get dropped. Maybe it won't. I don't know. I'm not making, again, plans, but at this point in time, things are looking much stronger in my favor, because if they want to make an agreement to just take the very least they can get, went from SWAT raiding this house, grenading my son and daughter, they have no accountability. You see what I'm saying? That shows no accountability. Here, we'll just give you a misdemeanor and give you unsupervised probation, and let this all go behind us. That lets them get away with. That lets them get away with this. I'm not going to agree to let them come into this property and wreck and shoot out all the windows and tear gas my animals and grenade my son and daughter and hit me in the face, and agree to settle for a misdemeanor charge when I didn't break the law to begin with. So what a slap in the face. And then to tell me that they wanted to extend the case. I am offended by that. I'm actually a little upset at Father for that, but it shows me it's a tell. It's a tell. And I'm not upset at Father in a way that I can't, I get upset at Father. I have a relationship with him. We fight a lot. Well, he don't fight with me. He laughs at me. But once again, I get mad at him. Okay. But anyways, so, I'm going to start looking for Elijah again. And I'm going to start by looking for my daughter. Because I told John, I had a conversation with him. I said, John, I told you the state police won't take a report. He said, Tracy, they can't. They have to. He said, I said, John, they won't. I don't want to argue with you, John. I already told you. Josephine County, if the judge would have dropped this a long time ago and they dropped Adriana's charges, they wouldn't look for my son and daughter that day. So you can tell the district attorney that I will be pursuing everything I'm telling you. I'll be suing them no matter what. I don't care if they wrongfully convict me, John. I will file an appellate case in federal court, and the evidence is going to come out. I'm not going to let you take me to trial without my son and daughter there. That's a mistrial, John. And if you do, I'm just letting you know. It's a mistrial. I don't even care if I win. It's still a mistrial. I have under the right of discovery, suppression of evidence. I have the right to call witness in my favor under the Sixth Amendment, John. Well, no, that's for them, because if they need to call it. No, John, listen to me. I'm telling this to my attorney too, talking like this to my attorney, because I don't have no more fucking patience. And darn it, I just cursed. I said, John, I know my rights. I know under the Sixth Amendment, I have Sixth Amendment right to call witness in my favor, to call witness right for my case. The state has the burden of proof, right? That they have the burden of proof, but they don't. John, listen to me. I reported my son, and he didn't listen to me, but I said, I know he heard me, but I said, I reported my son. This is the only way I'm going to get this case taken care of. You understand? And to be able to look for my son is if I get this taken care of. So you're not going to, there's no way if my son and daughter don't show up, that's a trial that I have the right to call Elijah into. How are they going to say I didn't stop the car? They have to have them there, John. Both my son and daughter should be there. Well, they don't have the criminal conspiracy with your daughter because they dropped her charges. I know, but she still has to be in court too, John, under my right of Sixth Amendment to call witness in my favor, to clear my name, John, not them. They have, I understand. So if you take me to trial, I'm letting you know, John, it's going to be a mistrial. And I'm just letting you know, and I'm surprised you didn't say I quit, but it is what it is. And I'm shooting them straight. So I'm hoping that because I put pressure on my paid attorney, he'll put pressure on the district attorney. And because like I said, he said, you're not going to like what I have to say. But as your attorney, I have to tell you, they've offered you a agreement to drop all the charges, just take a misdemeanor and unsupervised probation. And that's a slap in the face. And he said, and they want to extend it out until January. And I said, and he said, I already know the answer, no and no. And I said, okay, well, no and no. So he said, but I just had to tell you as your attorney. So maybe he understands, like I said, where I'm at this point in time. I don't care what happens in this court case. If I show up and he said, well, Tracy, I can't have your son and daughter there. if they can't be found. Well, see, once again, John, and it is what it is. Maybe John should have done a little more homework and called the state police himself and said, hey, I'm this man's attorney. I'm his counsel. Why the hell will you not report his son and daughter murdered? I'm gonna have my investigator look into this case, and if he needed more money from me or something, but he thinks he has it in the bag either way. And I know that's what he's doing. That's why I told him, look, John, I don't give a shit. I'm hyper focused like you are. I know you know this, what you're doing. I know you. That's why I hired you, John. You've been doing this since 1982. I'm not just trying to rub your ears. You know what you're doing in there. Get this fucking case dropped. This should have already been dropped. I'm tired of this, and I will sue them. You let the district attorney know I'm going to sue him either way. I don't care if I go to court and they wrongfully convict me. I will file an appellate court case. Too many people who know about this now, and you're not going to just disappear me. I'm going to keep pushing. All right, John. So I know what you're doing here. I'm okay with that. Just keep doing what you're doing. Yeah, you have my support, because that's what he's focused on, getting the case dismissed. So I think I may have put, maybe, we'll see, enough pressure on my own attorney to tell him, look, bullshit. If my son and daughter aren't there, that's not a fair trial. You have violated my right of discovery and suppression of evidence. Under the Sixth Amendment, I have the right to call witness in my favor. You have suppressed a witness and did not allow me to call witness in my favor. Okay? You can't do that. They can't have. And he said, well, they're going to have the video of you that's on it's on here if you want to see it, on the playlist of me telling Elijah not to stop the vehicle. And I said, well, that's fine, John, but they told my daughter, remember, they charged my daughter without a warrant. You let them know too. They kidnapped my daughter that day. And I let my attorney know, let that attorney know that they kidnapped my daughter that day. 25-year sentence, Sean, for kidnapping. They didn't have probable cause, signed indictment by a judge, jury indictment. They did not have. That is a kidnapping. And with a gun, that's a life sentence, John. I'm going after and pursuing that after this case, just so you know, John. You better be pushing this district attorney and telling him that I'm not letting this up now. You took me this far. We're not going. So telling me that they want to extend this case after telling me that I had to go to a trial after being in front of Pat Wilkie in 6 fucking days. And now this district attorney wants to extend the case after coming in again and hiring an attorney and giving him ample time to get this case prepared. If they're only just using, the footage from the live stream and me telling Elijah not to stop the vehicle, they're going to have the body cam footage if there's any body cam, but he didn't get out of the vehicle. There is no fucking pursuit. Look, he didn't even pull up with his lights on. He didn't get out of his vehicle. He didn't announce who he was. I went back into the vehicle. He would have got out with a gun. Get on the fucking ground now, motherfucker, or whatever. And he didn't do anything. He didn't even identify himself. He didn't pull up with the lights on, sirens on, nothing. There was no speeding. It says in their case that in the discovery that Elijah's speed never changed. He was doing 55, 4 miles down the road, I think, before he finally turned his lights on. They couldn't see the license plate. It was dusty or whatever. They ran the license and it came back expired. Who fucking cares? You know what I'm saying? So I'm 3-4 days away from court now. So they came back at me telling me that if I just take a misdemeanor, they'll drop all the charges. If I just take a misdemeanor, no unsupervised probation. Unsupervised probation. So basically, after all that, nothing. It's not going to do anything to me. I can have all the record expunged in probably a year or two. It's not a violent crime or anything. It's just, I'm pretty sure it'd be hindering prosecution, misdemeanor hindering prosecution, unsupervised probation. They'd have to give me all my weapons back, everything. It's a wash. You know what I told him? Fuck you. Fuck you. I ain't taking no deal. After all that, you're going to slap me in the face and come shoot out my, literally grenade me in the face, shoot all these windows out of this cabin and wreck this ministry and kidnap my son and daughter, or what they did to them, and slap me with a misdemeanor. Hell no. I ain't taking no deal. No, I'm not going to agree to anything. They're going to throw me in a cage and they're going to take my merchant number, not willingly. I will never allow them to willingly take a gain for the bar. If they do it, they're going to do it without me willingly. And I'm not being rebellious towards Father. I'm being rebellious towards their perverted law. So what they said is that he said, I have two things to tell you. I talked to the district attorney this morning. Like somebody die? No. Did you have a wake? But he said that he would, dismiss all the charges, take a misdemeanor and unsupervised probation. If not, that he wanted to extend this case out until January. And I didn't even answer him. And he said, I know what your answers are, no and no. And I said, well, that's right, no and no. So if I get thrown in a cage, I'm not going to worry about it. I'll just know that Father wrote that's what he wanted for me. So this could all be over right now, brothers and sisters. I could have told John right there, okay, let's do it. I'm not going to do it, man. I'm not going to do it. There's no way would I ever let them do what they just did to me, my son, my daughter, my animals. Remember, I just lost Tango. So, and I don't think what they did to him was the contributing factor, but I'm sure it had something to do with it. He was an old dog, but that didn't help. And, but why would I allow them to do that? That has got to be the biggest slap in the face ever. Oh, we'll just take anything they can get. You see what they did? You see what they did, DSW? You see what they did? You know what I'm saying? Like just take anything. Just get them to take something. If not, we need to extend the case. They haven't done anything in the case. So they're not ready to go to trial. They don't have my son summons or my daughter's summons. They think they can convict me on something they already dropped my daughter's charges on. So, and her conspiracy charge has already been dropped. So that's Father just slapping me in the face. So God is so brutal to me. Yes, that's Father being a freaking menacing me, man. After all this, they're going to do that and offer a plea agreement? Hell no. No way would I ever fall for that. I'll stick in faith, and whatever they do to me, they locked me up, so what? I'll serve every day and know that's where I'm supposed to be. So, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? There's nothing they're going to do to me that Father didn't already write. Let's not worry about it. That's why would I agree? I agree to let them extort my bar number. I would be judged by that corporation. If I stand against this, Father sent Shiloh to cover me if I suffer. What a weak ass. I told everybody if I did that, if I took a plea agreement right now, I would expect every one of you to call me a hypocrite and unsubscribe from this ministry and call me out and do blogs about me. And call me out as a hypocrite. Go look at this pastor. This whole time he was saying, you got to stand in faith like Daniel. Father already wrote everything. You can't be a corporation. You're going to be judged as a corporation. Halakha, Haggadah, all the same things. It's the same thing going on today. And they go, oh, well, yeah, well, just because it would make my life easier, I'll go ahead and just take agreement. I could be walking pretty much scot-free right now. I could be facing jail time. I'll face the jail time if that's what Father wants for me. And I'll do it on my freaking head. You understand? Standing on my head. I'm not going to sit there. I'll turn the works upside down. I will. I'm not going to let this even, you know what I'm saying? Nobody's going to do anything to me that Father didn't already write. Everything that's happened to me in my whole life, you know how this works because you understand predestination, but most people can't figure that out. And so I'm glad that I have that faith and I have a faith and I have the understanding, to no matter what happens to me, if I suffer, I've already suffered this much. Why go and give up now? I'm in a marathon race, man. I got to finish strong now. I'm here my last 4 days and they're going to take me to pretrial in another 7 days. Guys, this is 11 days and this thing is either, who knows? See, I've told everybody in this ministry, I'm preparing to go to jail and I'm preparing not to go to jail because I have no say in the matter. There's not a 60-40 and a 70-30. It's 100% in Father's hands. Father writes everything not written. So whatever's going to happen to me, it's written. It's already, but it's not whoever will be. It's already, nobody's going to do anything to me. I live in not fear of these men in black robes. I only fear the Lord. I only fear that I'm falling short of his word. And he said, I must stand against the Halakha corporation, the perversion of this capital letter name. And no matter what they do to me, at least if I stood against that and they extorted me, I didn't do it willingly. And then Christ will cover me when he comes back. That's what he's standing for, the sins of the world. Those are the sins he's covering. You understand? Those are the sins. He's not covering you for your covetousness heart and you say, oh man, I'd like to be with her. She probably wouldn't be with me. I'd like to slam her until she leaves me or whatever. Our brains work that way, whatever. We're all fall short of the word. Women do it too. You know, your sticky fingers because you can't keep your hands to yourself and your thievery or your adulterous ways or whatever. That's not what the sins of the world are. The sins of the world are standing up to the perverted law. That's what he's covering his bride. Those are the ones that are going to be called out in the book of life. Those are the ones that will be, remember, he's got the key to the abyss because there's a gate to the wide gate. And those that who spend with him, because Father is the word, Father is knowledge, Father is your mother. Remember, not through your mother, because he's not the feminine spirit, but through your correction. That's who your family is going to be with after you die. That is the wedding feast of the lambs. So that's what this is all about. You're not here to appease the world. He said, be in it, but be not of it. So when he covers the sins of the world, it's his disciples that he's talking about in the book of Luke. Those that bear their cross in Matthew, deny themselves daily, bear their cross, take up their cross daily, and follow after him and do what he did. And he stood up to the law, the church, religion, government, and they threw him in jail for that. So if they threw me in jail, they would just be making you will be persecuted for my Shem's sake, for my agape, not phileo, for my agape's sake. Hallelujah. There's nothing that's going to happen to me that isn't already written. That's a beautiful understanding. Without that, I wouldn't have the strength to get up every day. You know that? I wouldn't have had the strength to come this far. Father is the one who saves me, lifts me, carries me every day, sozo, from a beginning point to an ending point. Sometimes I have to turn my cheek 490 times a day, meek until the end, till I can be paid back for anybody who wronged me. He will right. Anybody who hurt me, he will heal. That's what the word sozo means. Be carried, lifted from beginning point to an ending point, and then healed. I have to turn my cheek. So throw me in a cage. What are you going to do? You think I'm afraid to be thrown in a cage? I don't want that for me. I don't want that, but I don't care what I want. Father does whatever he wants in my life. I don't have any, it's like bowling with the bumper lanes, you know. I don't have any, can't get out of this path. He keeps me in it no matter what. I'm okay with it. I've been in this, it's been decades that he does it to me. So I'm so used to him bumping me wherever he wants me. He's steering the ship. I'm just anchored in that faith. That's what keeps me anchored. Otherwise, I'd come astray, think I could take the ship and start steering it and wreck it right into the iceberg. Maybe like disappear all the big banksters, all the, you know, just cover up all my madness and just wreck the whole thing. You know, no, I'm gonna stay anchored in faith, and whatever Father does to me is already written. And I'm glad that I have that understanding. He said, fear who man who can take your flesh, only fear who can take your flesh and your soul. So what a slap in the face that was, man. It's like, Father, you are absolutely brutal. You're going to bring me this far, but I know why he has to do these things too, because he does them for his own counsel and his own pleasure. And there will be results, things I'll never know and don't want to know, that he tested me and he's testing every single one of these people. The word is orge, and we're all part of it, you know. And so go ahead, puppy. So I'm excited to get some kind of results. I feel like I did at least, you know, they haven't made an agreement to make. I said that. I'm like, dude, they haven't even made not even one chance at an agreement, at a plea bargain in this case in 18 months. That is unheard of, guys. They have thrown out so many deals in 18 months in most cases. This is the very first time, literally, 3 or 4 days before pre-trial, they're going to throw out, you know, a deal of the very minimal. You know, that slaps me in the face. It really does. It makes everything I do seem vain and worthless, to just stand down and do it for my own worth. Although I could suffer, but what kind of pastor would come in here and be standing up and showing you that and telling you that thlipsis, tribulation, suffering, long suffering for standing against the law, and that's what I'm doing, and then cave at the last second? Seriously, I would hope that everybody would unsubscribe for this channel and say, this is the biggest hypocrite ever on YouTube, coming in here saying that, you know, we have to go through this and stand in faith, and then just took a deal at the end, you know, saying he's prior law enforcement, understands the law. And then, so I hope you can understand the gratitude of the faith that Father has shown here through me. And I'm not done. I have a long walk to go. to make it through this. So I'm trying my hardest to keep my eye on the prize, that he's the prize in this marathon in life. I can have a long, lot harder race to go. So anything's possible with Father. All things are possible through the word. So we'll see. We're coming up. We're getting close. But I wanted to give you guys too an update on why I would not do that. And even if I get thrown in jail, that's what I feel what Father wants for me. So now do I think I'm going to go to jail? I don't think so, because they don't even have a case ready if they want to extend the case. And if they're willing to drop it all the way down to a misdemeanor, you're going to literally go 7 freaking, hindering prosecution, interfering. You're going I'm going from 7 charges, felonies, to a misdemeanor, to a single misdemeanor without supervised probation. It just means they'll give me a small fine or something like that, and no jail time, no nothing. I'll probably be on probation for a year, 12 months, 16 months, 18 months, or 18 months or something like that, year and a half or something. I wouldn't have to report to anybody. I can travel. I get my weapons back to protect my animals. Remember, I don't have any weapons like that. I don't even have a handgun. So an old shotgun and a 308 to protect the animals out here because I'm a farmer. So, yeah, what a slap in the face that was. So, but it does tell me that they must not be, they're not prepared. They're not prepared to go to trial. So if they need an extension, I told my attorney, hell no. So maybe back them in the corner and saying no and no. They'll go, okay, we're willing to just let this go. And that'll be the best decision for them. Because if they wrongfully convict me and I take it to appellate and I get it overturned, which I already told my attorney I will do. If you put me in jail, I'm not going to do anything in there but file an appeal and try to get a federal court to look at it. And I know I will be able to, because you didn't have my witnesses there. So I'll get this case looked at it. I know that. So you tell him, if he thinks he can take me to trial without any witnesses, he's sadly mistaken. You're not just going to put me up there with a cop. My son and daughter were in the car that day, and I have the right to say, hey, did I stop you? Because if I didn't physically stop me, you can't convict me. That's why they already dropped my daughter's charges. So why this case is still going is beyond me. You guys, I'm going to make me some ice cubes. I didn't make any ice cubes the last couple of days. Give me a second here. I'm going to make some ice cubes. We got enough sunshine today. So throw us down some ice cubes. Flipping rights. So that's where we're at, man. What a trip. After coming this long, that they're just going to, try to get out with just getting me to take some kind of deal, any kind of deal, just get them to take a deal. That is the least they can give me. And I think it shows how much the case is, they can't have much of a case, because if they had a strong case, they would be holding on, well, they'll give you 1 felony, and so the district attorney is young, and the attorney that I have hired has been practicing law since 1982, and I don't think he'd stand a chance in court. John knows his way around the courtroom obviously very well. Paul Charis is this young district attorney, probably, I don't even think he's 40 years old. He's a young guy. I don't have any issues with him. He's just young and stepped into a position. He has no idea what this county's about, what they did to me, and anything. He's clueless. And I would say to the attorney again, I said, I seriously do not think that this district attorney has went through and looked at any of the, even the SWAT raid at this point. So, you might have him look at the SWAT raid and see what they did out here, or he wants to take me to trial, because, so they may drop it Monday. I'm starting to think I'm going to go there on Monday, and they're going to file the motion. My attorney will come in there, and the district attorney is going to say, hey, we go ahead in open court. We're going to dismiss the charges in open court, because I don't think they're going to want to, or he might make a motion to extend the charges, and I'm not going to be happy about that. If they try to extend this case on Monday, I'm going to throw a fucking fit. I'm going to say, well, if you're going to extend this case, then my son and daughter better be there, because I already tried to report them murdered in this courtroom to Pat Wolke, You know what I'm saying? They're not going to get over this, and my daughter. So, and I don't think they'll throw me in contempt of court with my attorney on that phone. Now, he's not going to be there in person, but he will be over the phone. I don't think they'll try to get me for contempt of court. So, let's see if that's what they try to do, because that is something they might try to do Monday, is get an extension. And I think that's what, I don't hope not. I think that's what will happen Monday. I think either Monday they're going to drop it, or they're going to ask for an extension in the case, and he'll get it granted. The judge will give it to him, which is stupid because it's gone far too long already. So, and they've said that. So maybe they will, and then I'll throw a little bit of a fit, and they'll just decide to drop it anyways, because they'll know they're not going to just, they're just not, it's not going to work out like they hoped, so they came here with 20 plus dudes with guns armed to the teeth trying to, with some nefarious, and it didn't work out. I don't think that anybody's going to do anything to me that Father doesn't want to be done. So I do have confidence. I'm not conceited. I just have the confidence that it just doesn't look good for the county right now, the state. It's definitely not looking good if they're trying to make an agreement for just one misdemeanor, and unsupervised. They're just not ready. So probably be in their best interest, as I told the attorney, to tell them to drop this case. And like I said, I'm going to try to locate my daughter and my son. That's the first thing I'm going to do. And then I'm going to try to come up with funds to get my son an attorney so he can get his life back. I'm not going to sit there and walk away from this and then him still have charges. That's crazy. Anybody who thinks that, they apparently don't know who I am or what I'm about, or, I didn't get in this position just because I was, I'm going to help my son. I said, I'm going to keep my word. I would fight to the death to keep my son from going to prison. So if these charges get dismissed, I think when they dismiss my charges, if that's what the case, I'm going to say, now you better dismiss my son's charges, because I'll be coming with an attorney, till I can locate my son. And I'm going to say that in open court. I'm saying, you know what, you better dismiss my son's charges now. This case isn't going away until my son's charges are dismissed. I'm not going away. I'm not going to stop if they drop my charges. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep looking for my son until he gets his life back. Until they leave him alone and dismiss his charges. He can come out of fucking hiding if he's not dead. So we'll see. We'll see. Father has a plan for me. I know he does. Can't be my plan or he'll wreck it. So I'm going to spend the rest of my couple of days hanging out with my puppy here. And I've been trying to get this, ministry ready to be mobile. I'd like to go on the road. With the state of what's going on right now in this country, it's very dangerous to travel around, but maybe you should just go to the woods and hang out with no people. I've been really thinking that's time to take a vacation, and so we'll see what Father has. I hope my vacation's not with a bunch of stinky dudes in a cage, but I don't think so at this point in time. I don't know how long I'd be facing. I don't even know what my timeline would be, but the attorney hasn't discussed this with me. So again, I'm thinking it's something that he's definitely not. Normally an attorney's going to talk to you about things like this. If they think that there's going to be a conviction in any way, they're going to tell you, hey, you're looking at about this much time. And, so I think I think the final results will hopefully come this very soon. It's been a long 540 days today. 540 days has been since I've seen my son and my daughter. And they were supposed to be moving on the property 3 miles down the road from here. And now I don't get to talk to them, or I don't get to see them anymore. So I'd like to get this settled. It's been a long freaking road. So father is the one doing it, though, so I don't have any personal vendetta against any judge that wronged me, any cop that wronged me, even whatever they did, even Marshall, who's going to eventually, I'm going to go file immediately a missing persons report, and I'm going to file, I want that looked into why they did not go and look for my 40 pounds of silver, and I want more charges. I'm going to try to have Marshall brought up on charges, not to do vengeance. I want him to be accountable for where that gold and silver is at, where my passport's at, and a little bit too on why he treated my dog the way he treated my dog. That was animal cruelty. So nobody should have taken anything from me. I was a dad trying to help my son. I gave him access to get the gold out of my safe, but told him do not touch the silver. Leave it there. They ended up taking all of it. So they is what he said. My daughter, he says he had it the whole time. So I don't care about that at this point, but I'm going to get to the bottom of that too. 40 pounds of silver is a lot of silver, and I have record. And so I'll be placing a lawsuit against Marshall Radonich too. So I cannot wait for these charges to be dismissed, because the very first call that I will be making is to report Elijah Werner missing again in Josephine County. And they can't threaten to arrest me this time. They can't threaten to arrest me at this time. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Josephine County is going to be held. I'm going to be going and having Josephine County looked into why they didn't look for my son and report him. Start looking, and they said they had. I'm going to file that FOIA request and figure out why they did not go look for my son and daughter that day. And I was reporting a murder, and so that is a very serious charge. With 40 pounds of silver, that's grand larceny, possible, kidnapping. It's 25-year sentence, and they didn't even do anything. They threatened to throw me in jail. So first call, Josephine County, and they're going to have a fucking earful when I talk to them, man. I am going to lay into that fucking police department like no tomorrow. I won't be rude, but I'm going to tell them that they better plan on getting the district attorney to call me in Josephine County to give me a call directly on why they didn't go find it. And now I'm coming after that county for failure to report my son murdered and daughtered in that county, and they would not take a report and threatened to throw me in jail. And I want that call brought forward. I want that investigated. Whoever those officers were, there was 2 officers that day that were on the phone. I believe I heard another one in the background talking, or they switched me or whatever it was. But why they did not go look for Elijah that day in Adriana is criminal, absolute criminal. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, all this is coming to a head here. So 4 days, Monday's pre-trial. They want to extend the case. I won't allow them. It's not, and I told my attorney that, hell no, I cannot look for my son. My son this is why I'm telling you no, not just because I don't want to know. Until this case is finished, I cannot go report my son murdered or missing, or my daughter. So I will not wait another fucking day. Apologize for my courage. I'm just not going to wait any longer. I've been patient. 540 days is a long time to not talk to your son. Last time I saw my son, he was being shot with his hands in the air. So they got a lot of explaining to do. There's a definitely some wrongdoing here in this case, and they need to be held accountable for what they did out here. That 3 a.m. in the morning, come here and 20 plus men with guns come out here and just assault everybody, animals, everybody here was assaulted. My daughter, my son, me, my animals. Animal cruelty too. Can't be lobbing tear gas canisters, 5 tear gas canisters. I told them they had pets in here, so yep, animal cruelty too. I want to go after them for going after them, throwing 5 tear gas canisters when I told them I had animals in here and kittens in here too. So yeah, I never thought about that. State police, state of Oregon, animal cruelty charges, and animal cruelty because what Marshall did to my dog when I went and picked him up. Remember how beside myself I was on how horrible he was, you know what I'm saying? Yep, I don't know if he's alive or not. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look like he's alive at all, nor my daughter. But I won't know that until, you know, 11 days from now, if they drop the case after trial, because I beat the case. If I beat it, then I'm going to go look for my son again. You think I'm just going to stop? I got all these charges because they were trying to throw my son in jail. So if I beat the case, you think I'm just going to stop looking for my son now? I mean, at least he was alive before this case all started. Now I don't even know if my son and daughter are alive, you know? So I can't stop doing this. I won't stop. I will not stop looking for my son and daughter. I have reported them murdered over and over and over again. Why would I stop? If I think that my son is out there still to this day suffering, I don't care if he's mad at me. I'm going to try to help him. He's 26. He just turned 26 this month. He doesn't, he's a good dude. He's a good man. He made a mistake 4 years ago. This is, 5 years ago. Yeah, it's been longer than that. This is a long time. He did what he was supposed to do. He got in trouble, and it wasn't involving anybody else. It was, involving, no person-on-person crime. It was some other guys being out here hanging out in houses that were vacant and left out here for little trailers. And so they got him for breaking and entering into, trailers and stuff. But there was nobody in any of these trailers. They've been left out here for years, and they were going back to the desert. So, kids being kids and whatever it is, but he's the only one to go to jail out of 5 guys. Just one, 5 guys involved. He's the only one to go to jail. So I wasn't happy from the beginning that my son was the only one going to jail, and there were 5 guys involved. So out the gate, the whole case stunk and targeted my son and did a lot of things and just made it difficult. And so it'll all come to head here soon. It'll all come to whatever Father wants. So I am having a strong feeling in my gut that on Monday they'll drop the case, or they'll try to extend it out until January. So may not be done. I said that they could throw that on the card. And when the attorney said, hey, look, they'll give you a misdemeanor. They give you a misdemeanor and drop it down to just a single misdemeanor and unsupervised probation. Basically a slap on the wrist, like from, 7 charges, felonies and harassing the police, submitted to taking my weapons, my sex, to just a misdemeanor. What a slap in the face. So not a chance in hell I'll be taking no misdemeanor charges. So if I went to jail, I would rather sit in jail than to fucking take a charge right now. I don't want to sit in jail, but I'm saying that if I don't, then great. But I'm not going to, if I go sit in jail, at least I know I tried. And that doesn't help me find my son. But they can't put me in jail that long. I don't have a criminal record or anything like that. It's not like I'm, prior fucking charge. I don't have any priors. So I'm going in there with a clean slate. So they can't give me that much time anyways. But we'll see. Like I said, we'll see what Father's got going here, because he's definitely steered this the whole time. He didn't let this go any way that I tried at all. Remember, I just went backwards. I did. I just went backwards. Oh, nice. I got some more of those Chipotle peanuts. So I'm going to take it to the box. And if they convict me, I'll file an appellate case. So, because I have the right to appeal. Even if they convict me wrongfully, I have the right to appeal. But we'll see what the attorney's got. He's been practicing law You know what I'm saying? He's been practicing law since 1982. So, you know, he knows what he's doing. This district attorney's pretty young. He's in his 30s. So, it's in father's hands. I know that. So, but I'll be shortly after again filing the lawsuits, though, civil lawsuits. So that's going to be a little bit of a road to tackle, but I don't think those cases will take very long. I feel that the state of Oregon and Lake County will settle out of court on both of those cases. And once I find them criminally liable, I'll be suing all of their bonds. So, yep. Every person in this case that's bonded, I'll be going after their bond. So, I already said I would. I've done everything in this case that I said I was going to do so far, so I'll keep my word. So, I'll keep my word. I'll be suing their bonds. So, and I'm sure the attorney will be filing habeas corpus on my son and daughter's behalf. They'll be suing his bonds as well, and they won't be able to operate as a law enforcement or community public servant anymore. They can go flip burgers or something at Burger King or something like that, but not trying to take their livelihood away. So, but, so. What are you talking about, Anthony? So, I'm going to start with trying to figure out where my daughter's at first. Obviously, I think that's my best avenue. An investigator. Being that I'm a prior law enforcement, I'm a prior investigator. That, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're rambling ball over here. So, I know that father has this in his hands, so I'm starting to think they're going to try to extend it, but that's the only choice they have at this time. Really, is drop the case or try to extend it. So I don't think my attorney will allow it on Monday, because I already told him, no. I told this attorney, no, we're not taking this case out to January. So we can't look for my son or daughter until the case is finished. So let's get her done. I'm not going to go any longer in this case. So. Pat Wilkie. I want Pat Wilkie sitting in jail very soon. Pat Wilkie and Dave Vandenberg, two judges that I want disbarred. And I think I have every bit to have these two judges disbarred. Conspiracy, and this is going to uncover a whole bunch of other things, that the criminal behavior that these two judges have been involved in. So, we're starting at the top here, man. Well, they'll do what they did to me and then not go after these judges' bonds, too. I think I can prove criminal conspiracy with Pat Wilkie and Dave Vandenberg, both these judges, as well a lot of other charges, but violated my rights, tell me I had to go represent myself at a trial. No, I don't have to file. I have to represent myself. Oh. I'm starting with Josephine County, which will take down Lake and the state of Oregon. So they should have went and looked for my son that day. You know what I'm saying? What did I do wrong there, Eli? What law have I broken? What law have I broken, Eli? Don't fucking skip around. You ask the question, I'm going to fire it right back at you. What law have I broken? Since the very beginning, what law have I broken? Might have asked yourself that first, huh? Name the law, name the statute that I broke. What law have I broken since the very beginning of this case? 5 years ago, this case starts, remember? I like how people speak on the case. They don't know shit from Shinola. This attorney doesn't know shit about the case. He don't know nothing. You guys probably would know more in here than he does because he ain't even looked at it. He's just banking on that I'll take a plea agreement. Let them agree to extort my bar number, bar gain, right? My merchant number. They're the bar. So now it goes back to the queen. So Eli can't come up with shit, can he? Let's do the background music. Doom, 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 doom. Would you like to phone a friend there, Eli? You need to use a lifeline or something? This ain't a fucking game to me, just so you know. This is my life. Entertainment for you guys, but my life is, you know, what it is, right? Notice Eli's choking like Donald choking, you know. Can't come up with shit, huh? Tell me, am I wrong, 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 wrong? What can you feel? It would make a crazy movie. You wouldn't even believe it was real. You're part of the movie there, Eli. You left a comment in the comment section. Who's going to play Eli? Sanders. Ooh, that was all those. All those spicy chipotle. Woo! All right, we're making ice cubes, baby. Ice, ice, baby. Ding, 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 ding. Dude. Come on, Ice Tray, hurry up. I need more ices. I need more ice. Yeah, it's been a long road. I'm a little salty in my last days here, trying to write out these last days. But man, I've been screwed by the system so hard. My son has been screwed by the system. My daughter has been screwed by the system. The people around me have suffered. You guys have had to sit there and witness this. This is probably hard to watch where people actually give a shit. You know, anybody who's got a kid, you know, how could you sit there and just stand by and think that this is, you know? Oh, hold on, what do we got here? What the hell is that? I'm not sure. I just got a notification from YouTube. I'm not sure what it was. My bad. So, but I'm a dad no matter what. And all I did was try to help my son out. And the system fucked me. So, oh well. Life's not Burger King. I'm going to keep looking for my son and daughter. I'm not going to stop. I haven't done anything illegal. Can't name any crimes that I've committed. I haven't committed any crimes. I didn't interfere. I have the right to tell my son not to stop the car. If he wanted to stop the car, he could have stopped the car himself. So that's not hindering prosecution or interfering with a peace officer. I didn't harass the police by telling them to go look for my son. To show you how weak their case is, they just said that they would drop it down just to a misdemeanor. You know, from 7 charges down to a single charge without, you know, unsupervised probation. You know, they're just trying to grab at straws. So that's an insult to me. It really is. And then say they want to extend the case just shows me they're not ready. They haven't done anything, like I've been saying. If you've been watching all along, they haven't done anything. So that wanting to kick it out until January shows me that they're very ill-prepared. So, no. Well, I don't know. Like I said, they'll do whatever they want in this case. Father will do. You know, Father's in control. So I can't believe it's gone this far. They already dropped my daughter's charges for the same exact thing they're charging me with. And she did the same thing. They said they heard her in the video tell my son not to stop the vehicle. That's it. That's what they did to her. And they drug her and grenaded her for that, you know, and kidnapped her. So I've never even watched the video to see if she told my son not to stop the vehicle. I never heard her say that, but I don't know. So, but it doesn't matter because they dropped all her charges, you know, in her criminal conspiracy charge. So that's why I'm going to have Pat Wilkie put in prison and Dave Vandenberg put in prison. Because if Dave Vandenberg would have dropped the criminal conspiracy charge knowing 14 months ago, they should have dropped that no contact order between me and Adriana. They didn't go there that day because of that. So I'm going to bring that forward in this case. And I'm going to have Pat Wilkie put in prison for what he did to me too, telling me that I had to represent myself in open court, that I had to represent myself. No, I don't have to represent myself. I have the right to adequate counsel. I didn't have the money at the time. I couldn't sell the land. I didn't have the ability. And so they had to provide me counsel. And so I don't have to represent myself. He violated my right of Miranda right, Fifth Amendment right to adequate counsel. And so telling me that I had to represent myself, I am going to probably, between 2 people in this case that I do want to see serve time in this case, is going to be Ted Martin. He was the district attorney in this case. He's not a district attorney anymore. I am going to be seeking a civil lawsuit and criminal lawsuit against Ted Martin. He thinks he's going to get away with this, and he's not. Michael Taylor is going to get brought under investigation too. But Dave Vandenberg is a criminal. And I have to go face this guy on Monday. Dave Vandenberg is a criminal, and I can prove that. And I will prove that. You mark my words. I have a march to prove Dave Vandenberg is a criminal, and he conspired with Pat Wilkie to have him come out here and try to throw me in an illegitimate trial without proper counsel once again, because the attorney that they assigned to me had quit months prior, and then when I came to my pre-trial, like I'm getting ready to go to in 4 days, he didn't even show up. He didn't even call. It took him a half an hour just to get a hold of the guy. And when they got a hold of him, he said, "Oh, I forgot to call, and actually I forgot to call and tell you that I quit months ago." So I wasn't being given any counsel. So that is it. This whole thing it's so many civil lawsuit violations, and then for a judge to sit there and tell me that I had to, you know, represent myself because I wasn't getting along with my attorneys. That's not how this works. You know, they didn't even look into it. They just thought they could strong arm me. And that's what they're thinking. They could just, now they're putting their tail between their legs and trying to take whatever they can get. And fuck them. You know, that's bullshit. You're going to sit there and try to offer me a misdemeanor after SWAT raiding and my son and daughter are missing, and I'm just going to take a fucking misdemeanor charge? What a slap in the face. So it'll all work out no matter what. There's nothing that's going to happen to me that Father didn't write. So If you follow this ministry, you know that. I'm not. Here we are, day 540, man. Is that not patience? Is that not showing patience and faith? Have I not shown patience, faith, long-suffering, girded in his service? Have I not shown that to this ministry? That we're supposed to stand against the perversion of the law and stand in faith, and whatever happens to us will be covered after we die. So if not, then unsubscribe to this channel. I don't know what the hell you're here for, because I'm trying to be a living testament of his word. So he makes me that way. So that's what I'm saying. I think to take a charge right now would be hypocritical, and it would be allowing them to. I could walk scot-free right now. I could go on the road and leave right now. I go start looking for my son today. But I'm going to go ahead and show patience that he's right where he needs to be. And then whenever this happens, whatever happens, even if I go to jail, I'll just have to wait longer to look for him. But I won't give up. I'm not going to give up. I won't. I just don't have it in me. You have to endure to the end to be saved, and I'm going to see this to the end. So once my charges are dropped, I'm going to go try to speak with the district attorney and tell him, drop my son's charges, and I may not sue this county. I'm going to sue the state of Oregon, but I won't sue you. I won't sue the county, because it's the poorest county. You have my word. I will be suing the state of Oregon. They sent the SWAT raid out here with the state of Oregon. So they're going to be the ones. They're the one who hit me in the face with a grenade. They're the ones who shot my son. Lake County put them up to it, but that is going to be the agreement. My next, is to march my ass right into that district attorney's office and say, now drop the charges on my son. Otherwise, I'm going to be. Yeah, well, I guess I didn't have that much power, did I? Oh, well. We'll get some more sun. I should have let that charge up a little bit more. Oh, we didn't get that much ice, did we? Oh, well. Get a little bit of ice. It's better than no ice. Ice, ice, baby. Ding, 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 ding. Maybe those ones will come out there too. All right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap this one up here. Just wanted to come in here and kind of make a mention again that I'm not going to take this plea agreement. I'm going to take it to the box no matter what. Whatever happens to me, happens to me. And I'm just going to stand in faith, and nobody's going to do anything to me that Father didn't already write. So appreciate your time. I'll try to come back in for the end of the day. I'm really not doing much here. I'm just trying to enjoy my last days of potential freedom, if that's a thing. And so try to enjoy your day. And no, Father creates all things, so there's no reason to be anxious. He knows exactly what he's doing. He does all these things after his own counsel, for his own pleasure. So he don't get it wrong. He makes all this, right at the end. Even if it doesn't feel right here, he writes all of that at the end. It doesn't not equate at the end. He pours out a just measure. So the measure that you pour out on the, today, wherever you go out, send your whole life will be poured back out on you. So love thy neighbor like thy enemy, like thyself. Go out and share the light, brothers and sisters. That's what we're here to do. We really serve the word before we're supposed to serve the flesh. He makes that very clear through the gospel. So thank you, Father, for giving me the ears to hear, you know what I'm saying, and the eyes to see, here, because there's not many. Many are called, but few are chosen. So thank you for coming back and returning, like I said, spending your time here. You could be going any other channel and doing any other thing. So, but use your time wisely. Prepper tip before I go, paper plates, guys, go get paper plates. How many paper plates do you have? If you don't have a couple hundred, 500,000 paper plates, you know what paper plates do? They make you have water so you can wash your private parts your man parts and your lady parts. Go get some paper plates today, please. I don't like to waste money, and I don't like to waste water. It's more valuable than money sometimes. So think about what I just said. If you don't have any paper plates, that's my prepper tip. I'm going to keep coming in. That's like one of the best things you can have for preparedness. Water filter, obviously, you know, rice and beans, but paper plates. Don't be washing dishes. Why wash dishes? It don't make sense. Wouldn't you rather have something to wash yourself daily with if you needed to? If you were dirty and working hard, than to be using it on paper plates. Save that water for yourself. So that's my prepper tip for the day. All right, guys. If you want to support the ministry, come back later, time and date, and you can leave a comment. That's a great way to support the ministry. Thumbs up, don't cost anything, and there's links in the description if you want to support the ministry monetarily. It's not required though. All right, Pastor Revelation, Pastor Apocalypse. Whoa.